Looking for a watch with faithful yet original vintage design, but you're on an everyman budget? This is GHOSTwatches. I'm Casper, and today we're taking a look at the Nezumi Corbeau. Many thanks to the Random Rob YouTube channel for lending this watch in. The Nezumi Corbeau reference CQ2.202 is a pilot's watch in the style of many vintage pieces such as the Sinn 103. I like when a microbrand references a more rare and maybe unobtainable timepiece out there like the Sinn 103s and I believe reference 101s with Arabic numerals and Panda dials. Proportionally, I feel they nailed it. You can see the measurements there. It's coming in at a classic size. On my 6.5-inch wrist, this wears beautifully. And I feel like at 40 millimeters, this can flex on a wrist that is slightly larger, maybe even up to 7.5 inches. The Arabic numerals have a beautifully creamy yellowed lume. I love the syringe style hands, and being a Seiko VK63 movement, yes, it's a quartz, but it has a very satisfying mechanical feel to the pushers. When you stop the watch, it has a quick flyback function. This watch is an all brushed case, gives it a nice rugged look, and hides scratches very well in daily wear, with heavy beveling around the midsection to really make the watch look thinner than its 11.5 millimeter height. Drill lug holes make this very easy for you to swap out straps daily to change up the look of this watch. Nezumi have put a decent 120 click bezel onto this watch. I can't say it's the best ratcheting bezel that I have used, but it's definitely not the worst. Check for play in the bezel by rocking it back and forth. There's not a lot of movement, which to me shows that there's a decent attention to construction. Comparing this to what I feel is the benchmark in lume, basic Seiko watch. Well, see for yourself. I don't know that the Nezumi is something you'd buy for its legendary lume status. This watch has a feel that is beyond its years. It's what I love about vintage watches. I love the connection to history and story that you get with a timepiece that is 30, 40, 50 years old. But one of the downsides to a timepiece like this is its reliability. You have to upkeep it like an old car. On a newer watch though, you get a lot of that vintage character, but also reliability and ease of use. Especially with a quartz movement like this, you can pick it up, grab it, and go. I feel like this Nezumi Corbeau gives you 90% of the feeling of a vintage watch at 1/10 of the price. So let's talk negatives. Yes, just like any other quartz watch out there, I'm gonna say that I would prefer to have a mechanical timepiece. I love the connection to craftsmanship and history that comes with owning a watch with a good, solid mechanical timepiece in it. It's one of the few things left in our world that has to be assembled by hand for the most part, even if it's mass produced. Another negative that I have in the watch, honestly, this is personal preference. I would have loved for there to have been kind of a two-tone finish with that surface there right above the side edge polished. Like on the Nezumi Voyager, I feel it just gives an extra level of refinement when you have some polishing along with brushing. Flipping the watch over to see its back, it is, like most of the other Nezumi watches out there, just a basic stamped case back. I like to have something like a serial number or a numbered series just to kind of increase the uniqueness factor of each timepiece. It's not that big a deal, but I feel it adds a little bit extra to your purchase, especially when you're looking in that price point above $300. Another tiny little gripe that I have with the packaging of this watch is the included NATO strap. It's not the worst NATO that I've ever used, but it is a little stiff straight out of box, takes a little while to break in, and it's not the most comfortable feel that I've worn. I've been test driving this watch for a little while now, and I can say that the feeling that you get in owning and wearing and using this watch, it checks a lot of the boxes that I have what I'm looking for in a vintage timepiece. My recommendation, if you are looking for an affordable vintage style chronograph, the Nezumi Corbeau is worth a look.